All right, hello and welcome to the Bracket Life Brand YouTube channel. I'm your host Brandon, and today we have our first series champion interview that we have. This will be Brian Acker from Kingston. So Brian is the 2019 Canadian Bracket Super Tour overall champion, door car champion. Same thing, but the first ever door car to win the overall points championship for the Super Tour. He was also the Shannonville Drags champion in 1995 and 96, as well as Driver of the Year at Shannonville in 1995. Which, Brian, just so you know, I was not born until December of 95, so that's you've been around for a while. So let me first, I guess, tell everybody checking it out how you got into drag racing.
Well, first of all, I'm shocked you had that info from Shannonville before you were born. But anyway, I guess my brother was my biggest culprit or influence. he uh, he built streetcars and dirt like four wheelers, that sort of thing, many years ago. And he would build them, I'd break them, and then he'd fix them. So it was nothing really changed. um, I guess we started doing street cars and street racing in the middle of the night, kind of thing, and there wasn't really any tracks around or nothing that we knew of. You know, we led a sheltered life, I guess. But once Shannonville opened up, we decided to build a drag car, and Barry got a car from the auto wreckers, and that's the car we got today. So we built it on auto wrecker junk, and we just started racing. We didn't know anything about bracket racing and couldn't figure out why sometimes we got a head start, sometimes we didn't. It was pretty confusing, but we muddled our way along, and like you said, 95 and 96, we were fortunate enough to be track champions. And then I guess I retired from it for quite a number of decades after that. So, yeah.
Retire on top and then come back on top, I guess, eh?
Well, we didn't instantly come back on top. It took some work, bringing an old car back to life, and the older parts just. I don't know why you can't build drag race parts that don't last more than 30 years. It just doesn't make sense to me. But we would have this break or that break, and then we had more power, so we had to try to get it more consistent, and just the nature of bracket racing, the technology had changed so much, and we needed a lot of advice, I guess you'd say. So it took some time, but we seem to be coming around now, I think.
Absolutely. I can tell that from I think it was three event wins this year. You doubled up at iCar for the at the Super Tour event, and then I can't remember the third one. I think it was three, right?
Yeah.
So must be getting something figured out at least.
Yeah, it was good year. I think we made some adjustments the end of last season at Shannonville, and Barry, my brother, and Joel also helped, and we just made some suspension adjustments and made it leave a lot different, and it really helped. And Joel Morgan stayed with us all year. We were lucky to have another driver there to lean on and get advice from. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Joel used to drive that car, correct?
Sorry?
Because Joel drove that car for a few seasons.
Joel did actually. He I believe was track champion in that car as well.
Yes, I can't. I looked at it this morning. I think it was I want to say 2001 or 2002,
Okay.
when actually we left the tower. Um, Thanksgiving weekend at Shannonville, and they had all the Super Pro champions from the '90s and early 2000s, and I have the picture of it when it was yellow and purple with Joel when he won.
Oh, yes,
So I
yes.
have that one here too. Um, and Dale Gaucher used to race that as well. So you've had some, pretty successful drive
Yeah,
work out with all three, I guess, for sure.
yeah. It's had a bit of a history, and it's gone through a few iterations and a few drivers, and usually at some point we've managed to get it figured out and put up a few wins at least. So it's been good.
No, for sure. And so, what year is the car actually, or what year did you guys build it?
Well, the cars it was in 1984, and
And it's a Dodge. What exactly?
it's an Omni
It is.
024 actually is what it is. So yeah, he got it at the Auto Wreckers in the late 80s, and he started building it probably in 89, I think,
Cool.
and finished it up early 1990s. And for the first while, we just took it, we didn't know enough about the sport, so we just took it and did time trials with it and had some fun. And eventually we decided, let's give it a shot and see if we can figure this racket racing part out.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. So, to stick on the topic of the, sticking with the Omni. So now it's getting some new upgrades this winter, from what I've heard, and delivered some parts for even. Um, so tell everybody about kind of what you guys are doing this winter, and how you're gonna spruce it up a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to give it a little bit of a newer look. We got a set of rims for it and finally some bead locks. So we're just too old to wrestle those slicks on manually anymore. So we saw you doing it at the racetrack with the bead locks, and just can't beat that. So that'll give it a bit of a different look, and we may have a bit of change to the paint job, I guess. We had to change a bar in the roll cage as well, and we are due for chassis inspection in the spring. So we got that done, and just the normal. Other than that, the normal maintenance. So we're putting another seat in it too, a
Well,
recliner, so I can put my feet up. It's relax a bit. Well, we're going with a aluminum seat from our old plastic one. So
yeah, gonna give yourself some more space in there, right? 'Cause,
yeah, it will back me away from the pedals a little bit, I think, and with I got kind of gangly long legs, so that should help a bit. So yeah,
well, it's hard for everybody to tell, um, on the video, obviously, but because you're awfully tall and the car is awfully short, right?
yeah, yeah. It's a small car, and if I wasn't a contortionist, I wouldn't be able to get in, I suppose. But
Yeah,
I'm pretty flexible, so
absolutely. So, what kind of plans do you guys have for going racing in 2021 now? Now it goes,
boy, it's so hard to tell with the COVID thing. Like last year, we were hoping to make that $1 million race in Michigan, but I'm somewhat doubtful of that. The way things are going, um, but much the same as this year. I think was it. I mean, it was a good year. We had a lot of racing in. From the spring, it didn't look like we'd be racing much or if at all.
exactly.
So, we're anxious to get to the new Lustville track and try out the new cement.
Yeah,
And we're glad about. I mean, there's big dollar races now in Canada, which is new to us. We hadn't experienced that before, so we'll be in the Super Tour again, and we'll be going to the first race there in Grand Bend. We're looking forward to that as well. So it's going to be a good year, whether we can cross the border or not, I think.
For sure. I agree. It will be good. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited as well to get to Luskville. I've been talking to Arnie a lot on and off um, through the winter, and then Derek and Troy as well, and Kyle. So it'll be good with the new track surface and whatnot. And like you said, the Super Tour is always great. The Beaver race is going to be good in Grand Bend for sure. Um, and then I guess the plan still is pretty good, looking all right for the Show Me the Money tour. So that's a
Oh,
possibility as well, because that'd be another good series in Canada to do, right? So
you've never hit the northern tracks, so that might be something to try as well.
yeah, no, they're a lot of fun. I love going. I've
Yeah.
been last year because it was canceled. I've been the last 3 years before that. It's awesome. Um, so we got that the schedule. So SFG races you're looking at. If the border is open, I know a few of them are talking about heading down to Norwalk, and Dale loves going to all the Piedmont races. I wasn't sure. Is that something that you would look for as well, or?
Well, I'm actually paid twice for the Norwalk race in the fall. Whether I get there or not, I don't know. And I'd love to try Piedmont as well, and even some of the more southern tracks. I mean, our motorhome is as old as I am, so I don't know. I don't know how far I can trust it, but so far so good.
That's right. It hasn't let you down at least. Well, not totally. I'm sure it, maybe had a few hiccups on the way.
Yeah.
But well, this has been awesome. I'd like to try and kind of finish out with a last quick question for you, Brian. So, with obviously your success over, a couple of decades, as we've talked about, what advice would you give somebody new getting into drag racing or new into the super pro class to kind of help out, gain more experience or, be more successful?
What would help them?
Yeah. Some
Oh boy, there's nothing better than seat time, practice tree as well. I find it can help build your confidence. Well, at least when you're doing well at it. But no, I sit with the practice tree still and try to do as consistent as I can. But there's nothing beats seat time. You just have to get in there and you have to get familiar and comfortable in your race car. So that would, and if you can drive for anybody else as well, the more you can get in the cars, the better, I think.
for sure. Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly with that. That's, the same advice I'd give for anybody else, right? The more laps you make, then the more comfortable you're going to be.
That's right.
But all
There's
right.
a there's a lot more that meets the eye to this sport, isn't there? It looks, there's only a few steps you have to follow, but boy, you got to follow them precisely, or you can look pretty stupid.
Oh, for sure. And it's
Yeah.
easy, right? When, dealing with thousandths of a second, I was going through, I got a bunch of time slips that I have saved photos of. And I got a couple. I have actually one with you from this year, and then one with Joel driving your car at Shannonville this year. And I believe the worst package out of it all was, I believe, 11th thou. So,
Right. Yeah.
overall,
It's so tight and everybody's so good. Yeah. It just, but that's what makes it fun. I mean, men and women, old and young, we can all compete on a even level, and I think that's makes it awesome. It makes time at the track just all that much better.
I agree. It is a lot of fun. I love the competition of it, and then I love the camaraderie as well.
Well, yeah, the people are just, I was just shocked how nice and helpful everybody was when we were coming back in, especially explaining to us things like true start and crosstalk. I'd never used a delay box other than one I had built. You
Yeah,
know, there's this new thing, crosstalk. What the heck is that? But people were just so forthcoming with information and assistance, and it was so much appreciated.
Yeah, that was something else I actually meant to bring up earlier was, all the electronics that are now in the car are not all homemade anymore.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the availability of parts is just unbelievable. Electronics, but engine parts, transmission from when I was involved in it years ago, it's just unbelievable to me,
Yeah,
and it's just something like a kid in a candy shop, I just can't believe it.
for sure. Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks a lot for all this, Brian. It's been awesome. Honored to have you as my first, interview guest. So it's been great. Like I said, I've talked about it how many times. So this is really good, and we'll get her all posted up and let everybody see how cool you are too. And
Yeah.
and
Well,
next,
I appreciate it, Brandon. It's always great talking with you.
no, absolutely, buddy. All right, pal. Thanks a lot.
Okay, see you at the track.
Yeah. Thanks for watching our interview with the 2020 Canadian Bracket Super Tour overall champion, Brian Acker. Brian wanted me to add in to thank his supporters at KD Transmissions and his brother Barry, as well as Joel Morgan, for all the help and support that they always give. I want everybody to like this video just down below, give us a thumbs up for it, and then subscribe to the Bracket Life channel as well. That's down below. Then get all the updates for everything that we post here on YouTube. And then let us know in the comments who you think that we should have on the show next, whether it be racers, series champions, track promoters, or track owners. We want to see everybody else, and I'm excited to hear what everybody has to say. So thanks a lot, guys, and have a good one.